Tae Su Mi.
때문에 장가 못 될까봐 그래?
한바다에서 지내기 힘들지 않아요? 잘해주던 멘토는 아프고 선배 변호사는 괴롭히고.
What are we to do with Tae Su Mi? Tae Su Mi has applied to be Minister of Justice, a high prestige position in Korea. The interviewer tells Tae Su Mi that there's this rumor that years ago she had a child out of wedlock, and Tae Su Mi laughingly denies it and tells the man, "I take pride in having lived an incomparably decent life." Woo is consoling her father, Kwang Ho, about never having married, and then for several seconds, Kwang Ho sits and stares sadly into space, fighting off tears. He's not crying for never having married. He's sad because his heart was broken and did not heal. He still has feelings for Woo's mother. Woo's co-worker, attorney Soo-young, brings Woo to the ladies' store. On the same afternoon that attorney Tae Su Mi happens to be browsing. A clerk suggests to Tae Su Mi perhaps she feels bad because she has no daughter to shop with. Tae Su Mi just laughs this off. Then Tae Su Mi crosses the room and sees one shoe set slightly crooked on display, and she straightens it meticulously. We think, where have we seen this kind of behavior before? Just then, Woo and Soo-young enter the store, and Woo immediately sees some scarves badly folded on a table, and she painstakingly straightens them to perfection. At the same time, Tae Su Mi walks past Woo out of the store. The next time we see Tae Su Mi is in episode 8, when she decides to represent the road construction company in court against the villagers defended by Hanbada. When Tae Su Mi makes an entrance into the courtroom, Woo looks up at her and is transfixed. Tae Su Mi makes an impressive presentation in the court, so cool, so poised, and Woo looks upon her with awe. That night, Woo's father finds his daughter in her room doing research on Tae Su Mi. He, of course, is horrified. He's keeping this woman's secret for 27 years. Woo tells her dad, "Even though she's the opposing lawyer, I think she's amazing. I want to be like her." Kwang Ho the next day goes to Hanbada law offices and asks Director Han if the reason she hired Woo was so that she could use Woo as a weapon to get back at Tae Su Mi at the right moment. Kwang Ho, Han, and Tae Su Mi were all in law school together. Soon, Tae Su Mi is in court defending the construction company, and Woo is in court catching her competitor establishing a detail in the paperwork that contradicts Tae Su Mi's claims. Minutes later, in the ladies' bathroom, Tae Su Mi approaches Woo with a smile. She praises Woo's courtroom performance effusively. Tae Su Mi is usually the center of attention. We never see her show any special interest in somebody else. But Woo delights her. The next time they meet is in the village. Woo has misplaced her lawyer's bag, and Tae Su Mi recovers it for her. They are the only two on this mountain. Tae Su Mi praises Woo's work on a previous case. Tae Su Mi sees in Woo herself at that age. Then Tae Su Mi offers Woo a job at Taesan. Taesan is more sophisticated. Then Tae Su Mi says, "There's nothing weaker than a person's mind, especially in the face of money." This philosophy, I feel, breaks the spell that Tae Su Mi has been casting over Woo at the moment. Tae Su Mi presses on. When the case is over, think about Taesan, and she offers her business card. Let's win cases together. Woo has now had 2 encounters with Tae Su Mi, and both times Taesan's CEO has heaped admiration and praise on the younger woman's head. Her team accuses the judge of having a financial interest in the construction company winning the suit. Then Woo looks across the room in the direction of Tae Su Mi as if to rub it in. Tae Su Mi returns the gaze with amazement. Woo has now beaten Tae Su Mi in court 3 times. The next day, Tae Su Mi thinks Woo is coming to Taesan offices to discuss her transfer. But now Woo's father has informed her that Tae Su Mi is her mother. Woo is so often withdrawn and cowering in social situations, but suddenly the steady one, the strong one, as she expresses her disappointment that her mother does not recognize her even now. Then Woo calmly checks a text message that tells her that the hackberry tree in the village will be declared a national monument, and so the road construction will be detoured. Because of Woo's idea, Woo has beaten her mother in court 1 more time. Tae Su Mi asks her daughter if she resents her for what she has done. Woo struggles and replies that it was nice when the 2 of them stood together looking at the hackberry tree in the village. It is hard to watch this scene and not believe that Woo has feelings for Tae Su Mi nevertheless. Tae Su Mi's feelings for Woo, her agony suddenly at this situation, are not clear. It does not take long for us to know how Tae Su Mi digests her newfound awareness. Tae Su Mi shows up after hours at Kwang Ho's gimbap shop. She's calm and confident again, and she suggests to Kwang Ho to take Woo to America, to Boston, where Woo can practice law at Taesan's affiliate. She, Tae Su Mi, will pay for everything. Kwang Ho is enraged. He denies her accusation that Hanbada had hired Woo just to punish her. The deal between them was that he would live far away with Woo if she carried the baby to term, which she did. Yet now he and Woo live right in Seoul, and Woo works for Han, their old classmate from law school. When Tae Su Mi was young, ambitious, and with an unwanted pregnancy, why did he make the deal with her if later he would judge her so harshly for it. Consider, because she did not have the abortion, she gave up a year of her life, and she was forced to expose her shame to her parents. I think he resents his sacrifice in the arrangement. And he's missing the point. The most important thing is Wu. Wu is alive, and Kwang Ho has her, because Tae Su Mi did not have the abortion, and she did not keep the baby from him. He's entitled to no more than that. And after he's had his man's tantrum, in the mess in his restaurant floor, he sees the Boston Taesan booklet. And for all of his rage, he knows Tae Su Mi is right, that at least Wu deserves a chance to make such a choice for herself if she appreciates the advantages of going to America. As for Tae Su Mi, for a second time in her life, she's chosen her career over her daughter, and the audience is disappointed. But keep in mind, when men put their careers ahead of raising children, people rarely give this any notice at all. In the climactic episodes of the series, Hanbada finds itself defending an online sales company named Rayon in a gigantic lawsuit over sloppy security that has allowed the personal data of millions of customers to be stolen by a hacker. As it turns out, the hack was by design, arranged by Mr. Kim, one of the company founders, who was trying to scare his business partner into getting serious about security. And the hacker who was enlisted by Mr. Kim? It is Tae Su Mi's 15-year-old son, Sang Hyun, a young computer genius. Attorney Wu gets visited in her office by a boy claiming to be her brother. His mother, Tae Su Mi, does not want him to confess that he hacked Rayon's database and stole the personal data. Tae Su Mi is within days of achieving her lifelong-held dream of being appointed as Minister of Justice. She doesn't want any personal scandal ruining this for her. Wu processes all the shocking information as fast as her brain will allow. Sang Hyun feels controlled and contained by his powerful mother, and he finally comes to Wu, he says, because he believes that his sister is the only person who's brave enough to stand up to his mother. Wu seems almost immediately to feel a sisterly bond with this boy, in response to the brotherly bond he seems to feel toward her. Before Wu can get Sang Hyun on the witness stand to confess his crime, Tae Su Mi has arranged for her son to take a long vacation in the United States to bury the scandal. Wu's colleagues at Hanbada believe they already have enough evidence to destroy Tae Su Mi and win the case, but defiantly, Wu tells them no. Sang Hyun deserves a chance to take responsibility for his actions. She will approach Tae Su Mi and convince her to let the boy appear in court. Wu's boss, Director Han, knows Wu's secret, as does Attorney Kwan at this point, but they don't give it away in front of the others. Wu is told, okay, go give it a shot. Nobody believes that Wu can get 5 minutes alone with Tae Su Mi right now, because this is the very day that Tae Su Mi is to appear at a final hearing before the committee that will decide if she is to become the next Minister of Justice. But Woo has never felt stronger or more sure of herself, and her hunch is correct. Out at the front gate, Woo is informed by one of Tae Su Mi's lackeys that the great lady will give her 5 minutes right now, just before she's to walk out in front of the committee. Woo is brought in, and Tae Su Mi sends all of her handlers and her lieutenants out of the room, and looking cool and controlled, once again, here's Woo out. Woo tells her mother that Sang-hyun wants to do the right thing because he feels guilty about what he's done, that it would be wrong to cover for him. Woo knows that if Tae Su Mi lets her son take responsibility for hacking and stealing the data, her chance to be Minister of Justice will be finished. Tae Su Mi patiently listens to Woo as the clock ticks. And then Tae Su Mi stands and walks out of the room. Woo watches her go. Did I fail? But Tae Su Mi agrees with Woo's request. Sang-hyun will not run away to the United States. He will confess to his crime, and Tae Su Mi goes in front of the cameras, withdraws her candidacy to be Minister of Justice. Tae Su Mi publicly admits to her failings as a mother to Sang-hyun. She takes this first step only in response to Woo's plea to her. What she has not done, even at this late date, is to take that last step. She's not admitted that she is the mother of Woo Young-woo. This leaves us to attempt a judgment upon Tae Su Mi at the end of Season 1. Has Tae Su Mi redeemed herself at all as a person? To the minus, Tae Su Mi never acknowledges Woo as her daughter. Even now, even as proud of this young woman as Tae Su Mi clearly is, her teenage son knows now. How does his mother's silence about his sister make him feel? And since she's not going to be Minister of Justice anyway, why not confess? But in Tae Su Mi's favor, if adult Woo Young-woo had to choose between her mother falling on her sword for her or for her little brother Sang-hyun, I think Woo would pick the brother over her own self. Because his emotions and character are still being formed. So I think Woo appreciates that Tae Su Mi granted her daughter's request when she had her boy virtually at the airport going through security. If that plane leaves with Sang-hyun on it, Tae Su Mi is the new Minister of Justice. But she gave that up, her professional dream job, after a 3-minute conversation with Woo. It's not easy to apologize for being a bad mother on Korean TV news. So as I see it, Tae Su Mi gets points for that. And that's a signal in the right direction.